Today, the jury found Kwame Kilpatrick guilty of not just committing small crimes, but of committing very serious crimes, of using the power of his public office to enrich himself, his friends and family, instead of serving the people who elected him. At its most basic element, the case was really about this. Kwame Kilpatrick stole money from the people of Detroit. He may have used sophisticated methods to do it, but at the end of the day, what he was doing was stealing money that didn't belong to him, stealing money that belonged to the people of Detroit. And while Kwame Kilpatrick enjoyed a lavish lifestyle, he watched the quality of life erode for the people of Detroit. I want to talk about three categories of crimes that were part of the jury's verdict today. First, racketeering, or RICO. That racketeering conviction shows that this jury found that Kwame Kilpatrick created a culture of doing business in Detroit. If you wanted a contract in Detroit, you had to pay bribes. The mayor cheated the system. If you wanted a contract, you had to get his friend Bobby Ferguson in on one of the contracts. He had to have a subcontract. He had to have a piece of the action. And if he wasn't part of the contract, then you didn't get to do business in Detroit. In all, Bobby Ferguson received $127 million worth of city contracts from the city of Detroit. Those weren't Kwame Kilpatrick's contracts. Those were the people's contracts. And it was that money that he squandered. The former mayor was not focused on running the city. He was focused on using the mayor's office as a money-making machine for himself and his family and friends. He was grabbing money from the citizens that he was elected to serve. Second, I want to talk about the Kilpatrick Civic Fund. This was the civic fund that Kwame Kilpatrick set up purportedly to serve the citizens of Detroit, the youth of Detroit, seniors of Detroit, voter education, and he stole money from that nonprofit organization. He stole money from the donors, $500,000, and he spent it on things like yoga lessons for himself, golf clubs, vacations at luxury resorts, summer camp for his kids, things we all love to spend money on, but not money we don't have. And that money came right out of the pockets of the people of Detroit. Kwame Kilpatrick didn't lead the city, he looted the city. And third, the state arts grant. I thought the evidence in that count was particularly significant because it showed that even before he became mayor, Kwame Kilpatrick was using his office in the Michigan legislature to rob the people and to enrich his friends and himself, including Bobby Ferguson. He was abusing power even before he became mayor of Detroit. So it was not the power of City Hall that corrupted Kwame Kilpatrick. Kwame Kilpatrick corrupted City Hall. And now I thought I'd say a word about the significance of this case. Through this jury, our community has spoken. In our legal system, that's how it works. The jury speaks on behalf of the people. And our community has said, you can't cheat the citizens and get away with it. A public corruption case like this is so harmful because it not only robs the people of Detroit of the money that belongs to them, but it also erodes public confidence in government, which is absolutely essential to being effective. And this kind of corruption also discourages legitimate businesses from doing business in our city. And that's another harm. And although this case spanned many years, this case is not about the past, it's about the future. We hope that this prosecution will deter candidates from seeking public office to enrich themselves, because they know that they won't be able to get away with it. We don't expect our public officials to be perfect, but we do expect them to do their best to serve the people. This case should stand for the notion that you should seek public office to make a difference, not to make money. We also hope that this case will empower contractors who face extortion in the future to come forward to us instead of complying with the demands of criminals who seek to shake them down. As Mark Chutko said in his rebuttal argument, he said it very simply but very eloquently. Corruption depends on indifference. Corruption occurs when public officials think no one's watching, or no one cares, or no one dares to challenge authority. And that culture spreads like poison because people figure, well, if other people are doing it, why shouldn't I get my piece of the pie? In the Kilpatrick administration, 35 different people thought that they deserved their piece of the pie. It was poison and it spread throughout City Hall. But when officials and contractors realize that there is a heavy price to be paid for getting their piece of the pie, that changes the risk analysis. We hope that this prosecution sends a message that this community cares and will hold public officials accountable for betraying the public trust.